Hey, everybody. So, we're in a really serious time right now. It's never been easier to see who Donald Trump is than it is right now. I've spent 8 years trying to convince my friends and family and anyone else who might listen that Donald Trump poses a huge threat to America, yes, but I've also been saying that he poses a threat to the conscience of the Christians who support him. And if you're like me and you've tried to do the same sort of thing, then you know how dismissive and downright offensive people can be when you try to tell them things like that. But it's never been more clear than the past few days when Trump has been spouting Russian talking points about Ukraine and attacking Ukraine's President Zelensky. Now, I use the phrase Trump poses a threat to the conscience of the Christians who support him just now. If you've been around here a while, then you've heard me say that many times. My first book in 2020 was called MAGA Seduction, Resisting the Debasement of the Christian Conscience. And my second book in 2024 was simply called A Christian Case Against Donald Trump. The whole point of it was to lay out the corruption that happens when Christians choose to follow Trump. So if you're one of the people in either my personal life or in the comment section under these videos who've been claiming that I've been overstating the problem, let me ask you something. Do you remember Bucha? Do you remember what the world learned about the horrors and atrocities that Russian soldiers inflicted on the people of Bucha? The only reason we learned about it was because Ukraine managed to take the town back and they were able to excavate the graves and talk to the survivors. Do you remember the horror that you felt when you learned those things? Do you remember what Vladimir Putin did when the world accused him of war crimes because of what his soldiers did in Bucha? He doubled down. He rewarded the soldiers who committed the atrocities. A major part of my warning going all the way back to my first book is that Trump has been on the side of Putin all along. He's made it clear to anyone who was willing to pay attention. And at the core of my warning was this, that Trump uses the same tactics of disinformation that Vladimir Putin uses, and that listening to Donald Trump and adopting his worldview is going to absolutely poison your soul. The corruption of the Christian soul, the debasement of the Christian conscience. That's been my concern all along. So now we're in a situation where the entire world knows exactly who Putin is, and they know exactly who Trump is. Trump isn't an isolationist. That's not what it's about. He's just, that he's just trying to withdraw America from foreign conflicts. Trump is pro-Putin, and he's aligning America with the dictators of the world. He's making that choice for us. And he's getting away with it because his Republican Party is too cowardly to stand up to him. The only way that this gets better is if the Christians, who are the strongest supporters of those Republicans, stand up and say enough. If you call yourself a Christian and you still support Donald Trump, what happened to you? This is exactly what I mean by the corruption of your soul. This is what I mean by the debasement of your conscience. What happened to you? How can you still support the man and the party that supports Vladimir Putin, the butcher of Bucha? When is enough enough? If you don't believe me about the facts of what Trump has done and said in support of Putin and in opposition to Zelensky, just look it up. He's not hiding it. This is a dark day for America and for the world. And it's people who call themselves Christians who've done this. I haven't had time to read most of my comments because I've been on the road this week, but I saw one last night that turned my stomach. Someone posted on an old video of mine saying that I was a false teacher and that Donald Trump has done nothing wrong and that I'm going against Jesus by opposing Trump. That's what the corruption of the Christian conscience looks like. Facts are facts. Bucha happened. Putin did reward those soldiers. And Trump has taken Putin's side on behalf of America. And self-proclaimed Christians are Trump's biggest supporters and the biggest threat to any Republican who tries to be brave and oppose him. If you call yourself a Christian and you still support Trump after this, then I don't know what to say except this. I think you're a fundamentally dishonest person. I think you're using the name of Christ in vain. You're claiming to support the most anti-Christian president in American history in the name of Christ. I don't think you're dumb. I think you're intentionally keeping yourself ignorant of inconvenient facts by watching Fox News or some other propaganda outlet. And I don't think that your intentional ignorance, which you're choosing, is going to wash the stain off your hands when you look back in horror years from now at just how far you went in your support for such obvious evil and how you justified it in Jesus' name, and how you ignored the years of warnings from your friends and family, and how you threw epithets at us like Trump derangement syndrome or orange man bad. Bucha really did happen. And Donald Trump really did say the things that he said the past few days about Russia and Ukraine. It's time to grow up.